and the host was gracious enough to stand backstage with his own microphone going, "Totally boring, totally boring, totally boring, totally boring," like this through my whole act.
That happened as a 15-year-old. How did you ever...
I was destroyed. I didn't go back for 2 years.
Well, in that period of time, this is about TV.
That's comedy, though. That's how it is, and that's how you got to get a tough crust.
Were
You
you
get brutalized.
a kid watching TV like the kid? I mean, did TV influence you as a kid? What were you watching?
Dick Van Dyke reruns. If they had like videotape when I was a kid, I would have watched nothing but Dick Van Dyke day and night. I loved that show so much. I loved him because he did it all. He was like so physically hilarious, a great clown, and at the same time, he had a persona that he could relate in a scene. And it wasn't just one or the other. He could do it all, and that to me was like the thing.
Do you remember the theme song?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And?
Jeez.
Yeah. 23 million kids have just voted you their favorite actor for like the third year. Can you tell me what it is to be such a captivating guy to that whole audience?
I think it's great, because I think the way it works, at least from my perspective, when I see entertainers and I see music acts or anything like that, is that you try to appeal to your own generation. You try to, and in doing so, you usually appeal to somebody much younger than you for some reason. I don't know how that works, but it seems like the albums are put out, like a rock album, is like, the people doing it are always like 10 or 20 years older than their audience, because you have to be ahead of your audience, whereas the people that are a little older than you are maybe a little too smart for it.
Speaking of rock, I mean, you got a hit on your hands, it looks like, with Somebody to Love here. You did, what was it, Pete?
Cuban Pete.
Cuban Pete. Is this some kind of desire to make... Well, I mean, you're talented enough as a singer.
Before you comment, that was the #1 song on the Fox Kids Countdown, Cuban Pete.
All right, cool. Well, that's great. As a side effect, it's fantastic. But I'm not, don't look for the Jim Carrey Torch Song album anytime soon.
What do you get out of singing, though? I mean, what is that you get out of
It's
singing?
just part of entertaining. It's part of the show. You do anything, it's part of the desperation of being an entertainer. You do anything you can to make the audience feel or to entertain them, to get them up. And that's it. I mean, I love singing. I sing all the time, but I know that there's basically an unwritten law somewhere in the universe that says you only have one life to master one thing correctly. Fortunately, that the thing that I've chosen to do, you get to do all of this different stuff, which taps into the thing, but I don't want to be a rock star for sure.
Didn't you write a song for Tuck and Patty, though?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, but that's fun. That's like just dabbling. I don't want to be recognized for it in any way.
But you are recognized by, across the board, everybody loves what you do. In fact, we just did Jerry Lewis not too long ago.
Oh, yeah?
He was saying that if there was anybody to play him in the movie about his life, he'd want you to do it.
Oh, that's interesting. That's great.
Doesn't that kind of blow your mind that you have...
Oh, totally. You have no idea. I mean, I literally every day hear something that just blows my mind about who is liking my stuff or who is, who saw the show and thought it was incredible or whatever, and that kind of stuff is so thrilling. I had lunch with Steve Martin one day, and he told me that he was depressed and that he didn't want to go out of his house, and that somebody convinced him to go see Ace when it was out, the first Ace, and he said it brought him right out of his depression, and he felt good about things again, and that kind of stuff just was what you live for.
But you're also recognized, Matthew was talking about just going around with you and feeling drained at the end of a walk down the block, I guess, because you can't go anywhere without getting mobbed. That's a trade-off, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I really like people, so I like meeting people. I like seeing strange faces I've never seen before and saying hi and all that. It's when they want something from you, or something, some piece or something like that of proof that it becomes complicated. Like, just get in the car. I have some chocolate.
In a way, isn't the cable guy sort of tapping into that? It's
Sure.
a public person's work.
Absolutely. A person that, you're right, has no control over somebody who wants something from them.
You carried around a check for $10 million for an awfully long time, and you dated it when? What was the date?
Thanksgiving 1995.
It was cashable then, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What went through your mind? Because I know your dad was the only one to live to see your success, and your brothers and sisters are alive. What went through your mind when you put that in the casket?
Just that we were done. That we did it. That was it.
Jim, why did you do it, though? I mean,
I don't know. I just believe in miracles. I always have. So that's, whether they exist or not, or whether it just like somehow, the belief in something. I think that's what faith is about. If you believe you can do something, the chances are a lot greater than it's going to happen. Than somebody who's just going like, well, nothing good ever happens to me. But I think that's, maybe who you are, how you grow up. It's just always happened to me through my whole life since I was a little kid. My father couldn't afford a bike. All my other friends had bikes. I said a prayer, asked for a bike. I won a bike a week later in a raffle I didn't enter. Things like that have always happened to me. Always.
Now
my life is very mystical.
Now you have $20 million a picture, and I'm sure I'm the first to bring that up, right?
Yeah.
You must be getting, is it worth $20 million to have people keep bringing it up? I guess it is. Huh?
It's a hook. That's all. That's the way I see it. It's a hook.
Well, how do you keep grounded, though, when so much is happening with you, not just financially, but all the way around? How do you keep so grounded? Because you seem like a normal guy to me.
I'm pretty normal. I have a therapist. I don't know. I just try to keep coming back to why I do this and what it is that I'm really trying to do. And I'm not trying to show up at the right places with the right people and say the right things necessarily. I'm trying to create my art scene by scene, project by project. The only time I have trouble that I think I'm going to lose it is when I don't have time to do it right. And that's when I get upset. And that's the only time you'll ever hear of having any trouble from me, is when I know that I can't do what I've been paid to do.
To those of us who remember you in Maple Drive, we're waiting for another straight dramatic movie
Yeah.
from you. What's up? When's it going to happen?
Well, Truman Show should be pretty interesting. Peter Weir. Yeah, it's about a guy who, and a lot of people have thought about this concept. I actually had this concept, but I didn't have the nerve to write it. Which is a guy who, in his 30s, realizes that he's really part of a TV show, and that everybody in his life is an actor, and that and that's the concept.
Will it be straight drama as opposed to comedy?
And they'll, my favorite things are, like I said, like Jimmy Stewart, who, it's a serious scene. I'm in a lot of Chaplin's movies, were dramatic movies with a comedic character. Although you'll hopefully be able to laugh at Truman at times, it's going to be serious. It's going to be a serious movie, sure.
What about Liar Liar? Can you just give us a thumbnail sketch on that?
Liar Liar is about a divorce lawyer who lies through his teeth to get anything he wants, just to get over. Again, a guy who probably doesn't believe that he's enough, and he kind of ignores his son from a broken marriage, and his son notices his duplicity, and he makes a wish on his candles at his birthday, saying, "I wish my father had to tell the truth for a whole day." And so it's the hell that I go through as a lawyer, trying to tell, not having any choice but to tell the truth. So it's kind of interesting. It's good.
Thank you very much,
It's a sweet
everybody.
story, actually.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you very much.
When do you start
Before
on
you
that?
leave, I'm sorry. My kids will kill me if I don't come home.